Welcome to Dreamy Science, a quiet corner of the universe where wonder meets sleep, and every night becomes a gentle journey through light and time. Here, you'll drift through stars, galaxies, and the hidden rhythms of life, guided by calm storytelling and the soft voice of science. If this peaceful space helps you unwind, helps you dream a little deeper, consider subscribing so you can return again and again to the place where curiosity falls asleep under the stars. Somewhere in the quiet dark, 1 billion stars are breathing, and one of them is you. You take a slow breath, the kind that feels like it reaches beyond your lungs, like it touches the quiet air itself. The lights around you dim, and the room becomes a small, warm world of stillness. Somewhere outside, night has already gathered, and above that night, stretching beyond clouds and atmosphere, beyond even imagination, lies a river of stars, our home in the vastness, the Milky Way. As your breathing slows, the noise of the day begins to fade. Deadlines, messages, voices, plans, they all dissolve like mist under starlight. For now, you have nothing to do, nothing to fix, nowhere to be. Just rest, just listen, just drift. Above you, the galaxy turns. It has been turning for more than 13 billion years. A spiral of light and gravity. Born from the ashes of ancient stars that lived and died before Earth ever cooled. You are a part of that spiral, not standing beneath it, but within it. Every breath you take is drawn from the air of a planet floating in one of its arms. You are not watching the Milky Way from the outside. You are already inside it, moving with it, carried in its endless rotation. If you could rise gently through the atmosphere and into the black sea of space, Earth would fall away like a dream fading at dawn. Cities would dim into sparks. The planet's curve would catch the faint sunlight. And then, the deeper you drift, the more the galaxy would bloom around you, like a slow, unfurling flower made of light. There it is. A vast spiral, a quiet storm of 100 billion stars. From a distance, it would look almost delicate. Pale arms swirling from a golden heart, dust lanes crossing like soft shadows. But inside that beauty lies power, gravity sculpting space, time bending in silence, ancient collisions shaping everything you see. The Milky Way is both fragile and infinite. Its arms are rivers of light flowing through darkness. Its core is a heartbeat of stars, each one burning alone, yet together forming a quiet brilliance that outshines imagination. You drift through one of these arms now, the Orion Spur, a small lane between grander highways of starlight. This quiet region is home. Here, our sun was born, 4.5 billion years ago, from a collapsing cloud of gas and dust. Here, tiny particles gathered, warmed, cooled, collided, until one small blue planet emerged. And on that planet, after countless ages, you opened your eyes and wondered where you were. That question, "Where am I?" is older than language. Every creature that ever looked up at the night sky has felt it. And the answer, though vast, is simple. You are in the Milky Way. The Milky Way is not still. Even now it moves. It breathes in cosmic time. Stars orbit like slow currents. Clouds of hydrogen drift and collapse, giving birth to new suns. Supernovae bloom and fade like lightning across centuries. Everything flows. Everything cycles. And through it all, gravity holds the galaxy together, a silent thread weaving stars into shape. If you listen closely, not with your ears, but with that quiet sense beneath thought, you might almost feel it, the hum of motion, the rhythm of countless worlds turning, the pulse of the galaxy itself, steady and patient. Echoing through eternity, our galaxy is a spiral, but not a perfect one. From afar, it looks like symmetry, like order, but when seen closely, it's alive with imperfection. One side warps upward, the other bends down. Some arms twist into new paths. Dust clouds fold and shimmer like soft veils. It is not a machine, not a diagram. It is a living dance of light and shadow. You drift further slowly, as if floating in a dream. Stars glide past, some bright and young, blue with energy, others old and red, fading softly after eons of burning. Between them lies darkness, not emptiness, but a vast ocean filled with unseen things, gas, dust, magnetism, even the mysterious threads of dark matter, shaping everything yet revealing nothing. As you move, you realize that most of the galaxy cannot be seen at all, with the naked eye. Under the clearest sky, you might glimpse a few thousand stars, but the Milky Way holds over 100 billion. The pale streak we call the Milky Way, that glowing band crossing the night, is only a whisper of the true structure around you. Almost all of it is invisible, veiled by distance and dust, and yet you are made of it. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the oxygen you breathe, all were forged in ancient stars that lived and died long before the sun existed. You are, quite literally, the dust of the Milky Way, remembering its light in a new form. Somewhere near the center, deep within that glowing heart, lies Sagittarius Aegis, a supermassive black hole, 4 million times the mass of the sun. It is invisible, yet it anchors the galaxy's motion. Stars whip around it at astonishing speeds, tracing orbits you could never see with the naked eye. It is the quiet heart of the Milky Way, silent, patient, and powerful, beyond comprehension. But don't imagine it as a monster devouring light. Think of it instead as gravity's final whisper, a place where space itself folds inward, where time slows to stillness, and where the echoes of long-dead stars come to rest. Around it, the galaxy spins like a slow waltz, and somewhere out here, far from that center, you drift, one tiny traveler in the spiral. The Milky Way is our home, but it's also our storybook. Every star you see is a sentence, every cluster a paragraph, every nebula a page where creation rewrites itself again and again. You are reading it right now, with your eyes closed, your thoughts soft, and your imagination glowing faintly like a newborn sun. The galaxy moves through time the way the tide moves across a shore, quietly, without hurry. Its arms stretch out, gathering gas and stars, folding them back into itself. Every few 100 million years, our solar system completes one full orbit, a galactic year. Since the Earth was born, we have circled the galaxy only about 20 times. The last time we were in this region, dinosaurs walked the planet. Every rotation is a chapter in a cosmic novel, and tonight, as you rest, you are somewhere on one of its pages, tiny, brief, and infinitely precious. Let yourself drift deeper now. You are no longer lying still. You are floating, through starlight, through silence, through time itself. The world you know falls away, and the galaxy opens before you like an ocean without end. And as you drift deeper into that ocean, you begin to see its hidden life, the places where stars are born and the silent forces that keep everything moving. You are drifting now, weightless and slow, surrounded by a deep silver glow. Stars pass like lanterns in a dark ocean, each one a memory of light. Somewhere behind you lies Earth, small, blue, and quiet. Ahead of you stretches the Milky Way, its spiral arms curving like silk ribbons through eternity. You move toward the inner regions, toward the quiet heart of the galaxy. Around you, stars grow denser. Dust clouds appear like shadows caught between lights. Through them, faint glimmers shine, nurseries of creation. These are the stellar nurseries, the places where stars are born. Imagine vast clouds of hydrogen and dust, silent, cold, and ancient. Within them, gravity gathers matter grain by grain, pulling darkness into brightness. Slowly, these clouds collapse. Heat rises and fusion begins. A new star opens its eyes. All around, others join it, clusters of glowing orbs igniting like a constellation of candles. The light they cast illuminates the very clouds that made them, painting the darkness in shades of violet and gold. You pass through one of these regions now. It is not noisy, not violent, though creation always comes with chaos. But from here it feels calm, like a slow inhale of the universe itself. You see shapes forming, edges shimmering, the beginning of everything. Each star that forms will live its own story. Some will burn hot and fast, ending in magnificent explosions called supernovae. Others, like our sun, will live billions of years, shining gently until their fuel runs low. And when they die, they will not disappear. They will return their matter to the galaxy, seeding new generations of stars, planets, and perhaps even life. The Milky Way breathes in this rhythm, creation and return. Every breath of starlight you see is the galaxy exhaling, and every cloud of darkness is it drawing in again. Between the arms of the Milky Way, you can sense the quiet pull of gravity, holding it all together. It is invisible, and yet it sculpts everything, not only stars and dust, but the very shape of the galaxy itself. Without it, the spiral would unravel. And yet, there is more here than gravity. There is dark matter, that unseen mass that outweighs everything we can see. It does not shine or touch or burn, but it tugs at stars, bends their paths, and wraps the galaxy in an invisible halo. You drift through it now, an ocean of nothing that is somehow everything. The Milky Way would fall apart without it. You would not be here without it. The thought feels strange, that something invisible and unknown holds you together, keeps the galaxy from flying apart. But then, isn't that true of so many things? Love, memory, hope, all invisible, yet they hold our lives in orbit just the same. You pass near clusters of ancient stars, globular clusters. They are spheres of thousands of suns packed together so tightly, they seem like one glowing pearl. Some of these clusters are older than the Milky Way itself, fossils of an earlier universe, still shining after 12 billion years. Their stars are quiet, red, patient. They burn with less fury now, content to fade gently into the dark. You imagine them like elders of the galaxy, remembering the time when the cosmos was young and wild, when the first galaxies were just clouds of gas learning to spin. As you drift farther inward, the stars become denser, the light richer, the airless space alive with soft gold. Ahead, a faint glow deepens into radiance, the galactic bulge, the center of the Milky Way. It is not a flat place, not a point. It's a region shaped like a soft hourglass, swelling and narrowing in light. The central bar, a long bridge of stars, crosses through its heart, and at the very center of that light lies the supermassive black hole, Sagittarius A. From where you float, it is invisible, but its presence bends everything around it. Stars whirl at speeds beyond comprehension, tracing orbits so tight they could complete a revolution in mere years. You can almost feel the tension in space, the silent gravity, pulling, holding, shaping. If you could see beyond light, you would notice jets of invisible energy, X-rays, gamma rays, radio waves, whispering outward from the center. Once, long ago, Sagittarius A may have burned like a quasar, brighter than all the galaxy's stars combined. Now it rests, quiet and still, its hunger subdued, and around it the galaxy turns like a vast wheel balanced on silence. As you pass the core, you feel something unexpected. Peace, not fear, not awe, but a deep stillness, as if you've reached the heart of a living thing and found it resting. The black hole is not destruction. It is the universe's way of remembering itself, of holding its stories in perfect stillness. You drift past streams of stars, faint rivers of light, stretching like threads through space. These are stellar streams, remnants of smaller galaxies long ago consumed by the Milky Way. They are ghostly, delicate, beautiful. The stars within them once belonged to other worlds, but now they orbit here, part of a greater whole. In this way, the Milky Way has grown. It has not been born perfect, but built from the remains of others, a tapestry stitched from the lives of countless galaxies. Even now, it continues to feed, pulling gas, dust, and even tiny galaxies into its arms. Far away, another great spiral drifts closer, Andromeda. She is our sister galaxy, larger, brighter, and approaching. In about 4.5 billion years, the two will meet. But don't imagine an explosion. When galaxies collide, stars rarely touch. The space between them is too vast. Instead, their gravity will dance. Arms will twist and stretch, black holes will spiral together, and over time the two galaxies will merge into one. A single luminous ellipse glowing quietly in the dark. It will be slow, elegant, and serene, a cosmic ballet lasting billions of years. When that happens, Earth may no longer exist, but the atoms that once formed you will still be here, drifting through that new galaxy, part of the next chapter in the story of light. You move on, away from the core now, along a wide spiral arm glowing softly in blues and silvers. Clouds of gas shimmer like silk curtains. Somewhere nearby, new stars are forming. Others are dying. You see one, a massive star nearing its end. It swells, trembles, and then, silently from where you are, it explodes. A supernova. In an instant, it outshines everything around it. Waves of light ripple outward, scattering heavy elements into the void. Iron, gold, oxygen, the seeds of life. Even destruction becomes creation. The galaxy uses everything. Nothing is wasted. You float through the remnants, glowing filaments twisting like smoke. Within them, future worlds are already forming. The Milky Way is not static. It is a cycle. Stars born, stars dying, stars reborn. Every atom knows this dance. You can almost hear it now, not as sound, but as rhythm. A slow, steady cadence beneath everything, the breathing of the galaxy. And in that rhythm, you begin to feel yourself relaxing deeper. The more you drift, the more the boundaries between you and the galaxy blur. The Milky Way is no longer a place you observe. It is something you are inside, something that holds you, something that hums quietly through your very being. You pass through another region now, a dark nebula. At first, it seems like emptiness, but when your eyes adjust, you see shapes within the darkness, vast clouds that block the light of stars behind them. They look like shadows, but they are not empty. They are full, thick with gas and dust, with the raw ingredients of creation. These dark regions are where the next generation of stars will be born. They are the wombs of the galaxy, the silent spaces between the glowing. And as you drift through, you feel a strange sense of comfort. Even the darkness has purpose. Even the quiet holds creation. You think of yourself, your body, your breath, born from ancient dust, carried through countless transformations, now resting, floating, part of this eternal cycle. Nothing here is truly lost. Everything becomes something else. And so, as you continue to drift, the spiral unfolds wider, the stars thin, the darkness deepens, and the edge of the galaxy begins to appear, whispering its oldest stories. You continue drifting through the Milky Way, slowly, softly, like a feather caught in an unseen breeze. Around you, the galaxy stretches in every direction, a vast ocean of silver and gold. Stars swirl in patterns older than memory. Clouds shimmer and vanish. Somewhere deep inside this quiet infinity, time itself feels slower, not as seconds, but as light moving from one eternity to another. Ahead lies the outer edge of the galactic disk. Here, the stars thin, and the dark deepens. The light grows gentler, softer, more distant. You are leaving the crowded arms and gliding toward the halo, the quiet shell surrounding the Milky Way. The galactic halo is enormous, invisible to the human eye. It holds ancient stars, wandering globular clusters, and immense stretches of dark matter that give the galaxy its weight. From here, you can see everything. The spiral arms coiling, the bright core pulsing faintly, the entire Milky Way turning like a living wheel in space. It's beautiful, but the beauty is not just in the light. It's in the silence between the lights, the way the darkness carries them, the way emptiness gives meaning to what shines. From this height, you notice how alive the galaxy really is. It bends, it flexes, it wobbles like a breathing organism. The disk isn't flat. It ripples gently, rising on one side and dipping on the other, as if stirred by invisible tides. Astronomers believe this warp is caused by smaller galaxies pulling on its edges, tiny companions like the Magellanic Clouds, themselves drifting along in quiet orbits. The Milky Way is not a perfect spiral, it's a living one. Every imperfection tells a story of encounters, collisions, slow adjustments. It is not fragile, only responsive. Like water that ripples when touched, it remembers every brush of gravity, every whisper of passing time. You drift past a group of faint stars, stars that move differently, slower, older. These are halo stars, some born before the Milky Way itself. Their light is pale and steady, carrying chemical fingerprints from a time when the universe was still young, when the first atoms were learning to combine. They are ghosts of the early cosmos, remnants of galaxies long absorbed, relics of ancient fire still glowing softly. When their light touches you, it feels like memory itself, the memory of everything that came before you. And then, far in the distance, you sense motion, faint, rhythmic. a soft rain of particles, gas rising and falling like breath. This is the galactic fountain, a cycle where supernovae push material into the halo, where it cools and then drifts back down toward the disk. The Milky Way exhales and inhales across millions of years. It is not static. It breathes. You realize then that this galaxy is not something separate from you. You are part of its breath. You are within its rhythm. Every atom in your body, the carbon in your skin, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, once belonged to a star that lived and died somewhere in this galaxy. Perhaps not far from where you drift now. You are made of this. You always were. Even the quiet between heartbeats echoes that rhythm. Expansion and contraction, like galaxies, like stars, like you. You drift onward, past ribbons of starlight stretched thin, stellar streams pulled from ancient collisions. They arc across the sky like trails of memory. Each one is a story written in motion, of a smaller galaxy drawn too close, unraveled by gravity, its stars scattered into the Milky Way's embrace. The galaxy doesn't erase them. It carries them, traces of everything it has ever touched. You can feel the scale now. The Milky Way spans 100,000 light-years across. Light itself, the fastest thing we know, would take 100,000 years to travel from one side to the other. And yet, here you are, drifting quietly through it, as if it were a single, soft dream. Between the stars, particles called cosmic rays pass through you, silent travelers from distant explosions, moving at nearly the speed of light. Every second, thousands of them pass through your body without harm, carrying with them the story of supernova, of ancient energy still echoing through the dark. The galaxy is alive with these invisible threads, magnetic fields, radiation, neutrinos, weaving together an unseen tapestry of connection. It hums not with sound but with presence. You drift through this hum, and it begins to feel familiar. Not strange or vast anymore, but comforting, like the deep resonance of a song you somehow already know. And as you turn back toward where you came from, you see it, a small, pale point of blue, caught in a beam of starlight. Earth, your home, from out here it's tiny, smaller than a memory, and yet everything you've ever loved is there. Every thought, every laugh, every dream. That small world glows faintly in the dark, like a lantern for the universe to see. The galaxy moves around it, and through it, but Earth remains suspended in its quiet orbit, warmed by the sun, wrapped in air and water and life. You begin to drift back toward it now. Slowly, gently, the stars blur past you. The arms of the Milky Way fade into mist. The nearer you come, the more you can feel your own gravity returning, the pull of the familiar, the rhythm of breath, the warmth of your body. You pass through the thin veil of atmosphere. The blackness softens into blue. Clouds appear, drifting in silver light. And there, below you, the curve of the earth glows faintly against the night. You return to your room, to your stillness, to the space where this journey began. Outside, the Milky Way still turns, patient and endless. Inside, you carry a piece of it, in your blood, in your breath, in your thoughts that drift softly toward sleep. You realize that the galaxy has always been within you, not only in matter, but in motion. Your heart beats in rhythm with its turning. Your breathing echoes its tides. And so, as you rest, You are not alone in the dark. You are part of something vast, ancient, and kind, a spiral of light that never stops, a song written in gravity and time. Tonight, the Milky Way watches over you. It hums softly through your dreams, and as you fall asleep it turns quietly, endlessly, carrying you with it. You drift once more into the quiet dark, but this time the silence feels alive. The galaxy is not still. It hums softly beneath you, not in sound, but in rhythm. Each star, each cloud, each grain of dust moves to an ancient pulse, like blood flowing through a vast cosmic body. You begin to realize that the Milky Way is not just a collection of stars. It's a living system, breathing and changing across the ages. Far below, the spiral arms twist like gentle rivers of light. Within them lie the stellar nurseries, vast clouds of hydrogen where new stars are born. These regions glow faintly pink and gold, flickering like candlelight through mist. They are the wombs of creation, where gravity gathers dust and gas into the beginnings of suns. Each spark that ignites sends warmth into the cold, and from that light, planets may one day emerge. You move closer to one of these clouds, a nebula, immense and silent. From afar it seems peaceful, but inside turbulence reigns. Gravity pulls, magnetic fields twist, shock waves from nearby supernova ripple through it. Tiny particles collide, clump, and grow. What you see is creation in slow motion. The galaxy shaping new stars from its own breath. And there, within that swirling glow, a single point brightens, a young star igniting for the first time. It flares, sending ripples through the gas, announcing its arrival like a heartbeat in the dark. Around it, a thin disk of dust spins, the raw material for future worlds. If time could speed up, you would see this dust gather into planets, moons, comets, a solar system in miniature, born from stardust. You drift onward, past clouds of glowing gas and dark, shadowy filaments. In every direction, birth and death intermingle. Some stars burn fiercely, their light cutting through the dark like white fire. Others have already begun to fade, their light softening into amber. In this vast organism of the Milky Way, life and decay are not opposites. They are partners, two parts of the same rhythm. You pass near an ancient star, dim but steady, its surface flickering with magnetic storms. It has burned for billions of years, and yet it feels calm, content. Around it, the remnants of old planets drift, fragments of rock, frozen dust, the ruins of what once was. They, too, will one day become part of something else. Nothing here ends completely. Everything returns to the cycle. Then, in the distance, you see a light that doesn't just shine. It explodes. A massive star nearing the end of its life has reached collapse. In an instant, it releases more energy than the sun will in its entire lifetime. The explosion blossoms like a slow-motion flower of fire. Colors ripple outward, violet, gold, crimson, expanding across the void. This is a supernova, one of the galaxy's most beautiful and violent events. But it is not destruction. It is renewal. The shock waves from the blast sweep through space, stirring nearby clouds, compressing them, igniting new stars. The elements forged in that dying star, iron, carbon, oxygen, scatter through the Milky Way, seeding future generations. The iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe, the calcium in your bones, all of it was born in places like this. You are made of the death of stars. And the galaxy knows this. It remembers. Every atom carries a record of its journey, passed from one form to another: star, dust, planet, life. You are part of that history, carried within you like a quiet signature written in light. You drift farther toward the galactic core, where the light thickens into gold. Stars here crowd together, hundreds of thousands packed into every cubic light-year. The air, if there were air, would shimmer with their heat. The space between them glows with radiation and dust, pulsing with energy. This is the Milky Way's heart, not silent, but beating. At the very center lies something invisible yet immense: Sagittarius A, a supermassive black hole more than 4 million times the mass of the Sun. You cannot see it directly, but you can feel its presence. Stars whip around it at impossible speeds, tracing invisible circles in the dark. It is gravity incarnate, pure, relentless pull. And yet, it is not evil. It is the anchor of the galaxy, holding everything together, the quiet conductor of this vast celestial symphony. You drift near enough to see the space around it bend. Light curves, time stretches. Matter spirals inward, glowing brighter as it falls, until it vanishes beyond the event horizon. For a moment, you glimpse the truth. Creation and destruction are not separate here. They are one motion, folded upon itself. From that stillness, you sense a whisper, not of words, but of understanding. The galaxy breathes. The stars live and die. And you, small, temporary, beautiful, are part of it all. As you move away from the core, you look back and see the whole galaxy rotating slowly, endlessly. Its arms stretch outward like the limbs of a vast being in meditation. Its light flickers like the pulse of something alive. You are no longer just a visitor. You are part of the heartbeat now. Carried, connected, at peace. You drift away from the galactic core, where stars burn like thoughts inside a mind too vast to measure. Around you, the light begins to thin again, revealing great stretches of shadow and cloud. But in this darkness, you start to see something else: motion, not of stars, but of memory. Everywhere, the Milky Way remembers itself. Gas clouds swirl in silent spirals, pulled by gravity, shaped by ancient collisions. Streams of dust, thousands of light years long, curve like invisible handwriting across the void. You realize that each thread of matter is a story, the record of what the galaxy once was. Long ago, before the spiral arms had formed, the Milky Way was a restless sea of stars and gas. Smaller galaxies wandered too close, drawn into its pull. They were torn apart, their stars scattered, their cores absorbed. The Milky Way grew by consuming them, not out of greed, but out of the same instinct that drives nature everywhere: to gather, to become whole, to continue. You pass through one of these stellar streams, long ribbons of light arcing across the sky, the remnants of a galaxy devoured billions of years ago. Each star within it moves in slow, deliberate rhythm, tracing the ghost of its former orbit. It's as if the galaxy is still wearing the scars of its own growth, yet turning them into beauty. All across the Milky Way, these quiet signatures remain, currents of motion and chemistry that reveal its past. Some stars orbit backward, against the flow of the spiral. Others drift high above the disk, relics from other worlds. Together, they form a tapestry of memory, a living record written not on paper, but on gravity itself. You imagine what the galaxy might have looked like then. A wild, forming shape, glowing faintly in the dark. And you understand something profound. The Milky Way is still forming. It is still gathering, reshaping, inhaling matter from the cosmic web, invisible rivers of hydrogen and dark matter that stretch between galaxies. These threads feed the Milky Way like arteries, carrying the raw material for future stars. Even now, gas flows inward from intergalactic space, slow but steady. Some of it settles into the disk, where gravity compresses it into clouds. Some drifts into the halo, joining the quiet dance of ancient stars. The galaxy feeds itself, one breath at a time. You watch as clouds rise from the disk, the galactic fountain in motion. Supernovae below have blasted material upward, hot and radiant. It rises through the halo, cools, and then falls again as gentle rain. The galaxy breathes in centuries, exhaling stars and inhaling gas. What seems like chaos from far away is up close, a slow, balanced rhythm, destruction, renewal, stillness, motion. You pass through one of these cooling clouds, faint, translucent, filled with microscopic dust grains. On their surfaces, simple molecules cling, carbon chains, bits of ice, traces of amino acids, the same chemistry that one day might form oceans or even life. It feels strange, humbling, to realize that even here in the cold void between stars, the seeds of life already drift. The Milky Way is not just a machine of physics. It is a cradle, a patient gardener, scattering possibilities through its own breath. You remember the supernova you saw before, the explosion that gave birth to these elements. Now, drifting through this quiet gas, you see how it all connects. The dust you touch may one day be drawn into a cloud, ignite into a star, form planets, and perhaps someday breathe again. And so, even death in this galaxy is not an end. It is a transformation. In this realization, time itself begins to soften. You feel its weight, but also its generosity. Every moment you've lived, every breath you've taken, comes from events that happened billions of years before you were born. The atoms that make up your thoughts have already seen other suns, other skies. The galaxy is ancient beyond measure, yet within it, everything is constantly reborn. It is both old and young at once, a paradox of permanence and change. You drift through a region of faint blue light, a reflection nebula, where dust scatters starlight like mist, catching moonbeams. Each particle glows softly, a whisper of light from stars nearby. And for a moment, the sight feels familiar, almost human, like sunlight through clouds on an early morning. You realize that light is memory, too. The starlight touching your face left its source thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of years ago. What you see is always the past, a message delayed by distance. So when you look at the galaxy, you are not seeing what it is. You are seeing what it was. The present in space is always slightly behind itself, a continuous echo of what has been. And in that echo, you hear something gentle, a whisper, a reminder. Everything that was still is, just transformed. The same stardust that once built the stars now builds you. The same gravity that holds galaxies together also keeps your feet on the ground. The same light that warms your face has crossed ages to reach you. You are not separate from time. You are made of it. As you float onward, you notice another current of motion, faint, magnetic filaments threading through space like golden lines. They bend and weave, shaping how dust moves, how gas collapses, how stars form. Invisible but powerful, they are the unseen architecture of the galaxy. Perhaps you think this is what connects everything, not just gravity, but the subtle forces that run through all things. The Milky Way is full of them, and so are you. You close your eyes for a moment, and you can almost feel it. A pulse not of your heart alone, but of the galaxy's heart within you. A quiet vibration that says, you belong here. And when you open your eyes again, the galaxy feels closer, not as a place far away, but as something living inside you, whispering through every cell, every atom, every breath. You drift on, deeper into its quiet. You drift through a region where light and darkness blend like waves, meeting on a quiet shore. The spiral arms stretch out before you, glowing, vast, alive, and yet every point of brightness is wrapped in shadow. The Milky Way breathes here, not in the way lungs do, but in light itself. Each pulse of energy, each flash of radiation is a quiet exhalation from the galaxy's heart. As you glide through this sea of stars, you begin to sense how interconnected everything truly is. From the smallest grain of dust to the most massive black hole, every piece of this galaxy is in constant exchange. Matter becomes energy, energy becomes light, light becomes memory. It is not chaos. It is choreography, an ancient rhythm of transformation that has never once ceased since time began. Far below, a cluster of stars shines together, a globular cluster, dense and ancient, orbiting the Milky Way like a patient guardian. These stars are among the oldest in existence, older even than the spiral arms themselves. They are time made visible, bright embers from the universe's first fires. Some have been burning for more than 12 billion years. When you look at them, you are seeing light that left its source before the Earth even existed. You realize something then. Light is the universe remembering itself. Every photon that reaches you is a message from the past, a survivor of distance, a traveler of time. It crosses space not in seconds, but in centuries, carrying the story of where it began. You reach out, and though you cannot touch it, you can feel the warmth of it against your mind. A gentle pressure. A reminder that everything you perceive has already happened, and yet is happening again in you. Because to see light is to receive it, to let it become part of your being. You are no longer only drifting. You are glowing, softly, faintly, from within. The space around you fills with dust lit by nearby stars. These tiny grains scatter light in all directions, forming a faint, golden haze. Some are coated with frozen water, others with carbon compounds, complex molecules, precursors to life. They drift through the galaxy, carried by winds from dying stars and the quiet motion of interstellar currents. Each of them is a promise. Each carries the chemistry of possibility. Somewhere, in another corner of the Milky Way, one of these grains will fall into a young planet's sky, melt in rain, and spark something new, a chain reaction that might one day open its eyes and look back at the stars. It feels sacred, almost tender. This endless recycling of matter and light. Nothing in the galaxy is ever truly lost. Everything changes, everything moves, everything becomes. You pass through a glowing ridge, a wave of ionized hydrogen, shimmering pink against the black. Astronomers call it an emission nebula, but to you it feels like a heartbeat, the galaxy's soft pulse made visible. The rhythm is slow, almost imperceptible, yet you can feel it. Light is not static here. It flickers, breathes, swells, fades. It moves like a tide of color. Beyond it lies a dark region, a vast, cold void where stars are few. At first, it seems empty, but as your eyes adjust, you notice the faint outlines of dark molecular clouds, places where light cannot pass, where future stars are still unborn. These regions are the galaxy's lungs, inhaling darkness, holding potential. And suddenly, you understand. Even darkness is part of creation. The galaxy breathes through both, the luminous and the obscure. Without shadow, there would be no contrast, no shape, no beginning. The Milky Way creates by alternating, inhaling silence, exhaling light. You float near one of these dark clouds, and within it, lightning flashes, invisible to the eye but detectable as magnetic currents and bursts of radio waves. Inside, hydrogen atoms are gathering, coalescing, beginning their long fall toward fusion. You are watching the prelude to birth, light still hidden in gestation. The silence deepens. The galaxy holds its breath. And then, like a soft sigh, a star ignites. Its light spills outward, turning darkness into glow. Around it, dust begins to move, forming rings and spirals, a new system awakening. You are witnessing the same process that created your sun, the same motion that once gave rise to your world. It has happened countless times before and will continue long after you are gone. And yet, in this moment, it feels personal. You are seeing the origin of everything you are. The star's light travels toward you, and for a heartbeat you can almost feel it touch your face. Warm, gentle, alive. You drift closer through rippling gas that glows in pink and violet. Each photon that brushes past you is millions of years old. It left the star long before any human drew breath. And now, after all that time, it reaches you, its long journey complete. It occurs to you that maybe this is what connection really means. Not proximity, not touch, but endurance, the will of light to keep going, to cross impossible distances, to find something to illuminate. You continue drifting through the Milky Way's luminous skin. In the distance, you see superbubbles, enormous cavities where clusters of supernovae have blown holes through the galactic disk. Hot gas streams upward like chimneys, venting energy into the halo. Through these, the Milky Way exhales. Everywhere you look, you can see the pattern, rise and fall, birth and collapse, inhale and exhale. The galaxy moves as a single living structure. The stars are its heartbeat, the dust, its breath, the light, its language. And you are the awareness that allows it to be seen. Without you, it would still exist, but unseen, unremembered. With you, it becomes conscious. Through your gaze, the galaxy learns itself. That realization settles over you like warm light. You are not separate from the Milky Way, nor simply inside it. You are the galaxy, briefly aware of its own existence. A fragment of stardust that opened its eyes and wondered where it came from. You close your eyes again. The hum of the galaxy continues, soft and endless. Around you, light drifts like dust in water. The stars pulse in and out of being, their glow spreading through you until you no longer feel where you end and they begin. There is no above, no below, no before, no after. Only the slow rhythm of light. You breathe in, and the galaxy breathes with you. You breathe out, and it exhales across 100,000 light years. Time dissolves. Distance dissolves. You are not watching anymore. You are being. The heartbeat of the Milky Way moves quietly through your chest. In the stillness, one final truth emerges. The universe is not outside you. It is within you, written in your atoms, sung in your pulse, whispered in your dreams. And as you drift deeper into sleep, the Milky Way continues to turn, not above you, not beyond you, but through you. You awaken inside the quiet, not the kind of waking that opens eyes, but the kind that unfolds awareness. Around you, the galaxy moves like a vast dream, endless, slow, and luminous. You no longer feel yourself as separate from it. You are the orbit, the motion, the light that travels. The Milky Way stretches before you like a thought made of starlight, a spiral of meaning written across space. Every arm, every cloud, every orbit is part of a single pattern that never repeats, yet never breaks. The galaxy is an ongoing sentence, and you are a word within it. You drift through the thin edge of the galactic disk now, where the light of billions of stars blends into a faint silver fog. This is the place where the Milky Way fades into the dark of the galactic halo, the quiet boundary between what is visible and what is still becoming. The halo is immense, invisible. It holds ancient stars that orbit like patient watchers, and beyond them, the mysterious web of dark matter that gives the galaxy shape. You cannot see it, but you can feel its presence, the way gravity tugs softly at everything, keeping even the most distant stars within reach. Dark matter is not an absence, it is a foundation. It is what allows light to have a home. Without it, the galaxy would unravel. Without it, there would be no you. As you drift along the edge, the stars begin to thin. You can see beyond now, beyond the Milky Way, into the wider, local group of galaxies. Tiny smudges of light glimmer in the distance. Andromeda, Triangulum, and dozens of small dwarfs, each a separate story, each a world of its own. They are not far in cosmic terms, a few million light-years at most, yet the space between is enormous, vast enough to make silence feel infinite. And yet, even here, gravity connects them. The Milky Way and Andromeda are already moving toward one another in a slow, inevitable dance. One day, billions of years from now, they will merge, not in violence, but in grace, weaving their stars together like two rivers joining into one sea. You imagine that distant future, a sky filled not with a faint streak, but with two galaxies interlacing, forming a new shape, brighter and broader than either alone. Somewhere within that union, new worlds will form, new suns will rise, and perhaps new eyes will open to wonder who they are and where they came from. You drift closer to one of the small companion galaxies, a dwarf, spheroidal, faint, delicate, half unraveled by the Milky Way's pull. Its stars are few but old, their light soft and amber, like the last embers of a long fire. They have been wandering for billions of years, circling the Milky Way's halo like loyal companions that never quite fade. In their slow orbits, you can see a truth that the galaxy itself understands. Even separation is a form of belonging. The Milky Way doesn't reject its smaller companions. It holds them gently, letting them circle, merge, and contribute their light. Nothing here is wasted. Nothing is forgotten. You pass through a thin, faint stream of gas trailing behind one of these satellites, the Magellanic Stream, a ribbon of hydrogen stretching across hundreds of thousands of light-years. It glows faintly under distant starlight, a quiet bridge between galaxies. This is how the Milky Way grows, softly, by collecting whispers of matter left behind by its companions. The farther you drift, the more you feel the pattern repeating, the inhale and exhale of cosmic time. Galaxies collide and merge. Stars are born and die. Light travels, fades, and begins again. The universe doesn't move forward the way humans do. It circles, it breathes, it evolves through memory. And suddenly, you realize that memory is not something you have. It's something you are. You are made of memory, of light that once burned, of matter that once lived in stars, of atoms that have been everywhere before they became you. When you breathe, the oxygen you inhale may come from a molecule forged in a long dead sun. When you look up, the light that touches your eyes may have begun its journey before humanity existed. Everything you are is borrowed. Everything you know is ancient. And yet somehow it feels tender, as if the universe has trusted you with its story. You drift back toward the galactic disk now, descending slowly through its luminous haze. Below, spiral arms curl like ribbons of silk, each filled with billions of suns. The nearer you move, the more detail returns, clusters, nebulae, star fields like powdered gold. You see supernova remnants glowing faintly, circles of gas expanding endlessly into the dark. You see cool dust clouds turning into new stars. You see planetary systems being born in silence. The galaxy is a balance of endings and beginnings, destruction and creation interwoven so closely that they become the same thing. In its quiet heart, there is no tragedy, only transformation. And through it all, you drift, feeling smaller yet more complete. The galaxy is vast beyond comprehension, but its vastness does not diminish you. It includes you. It needs you. For what is the purpose of light, if not to be seen? What is the meaning of existence, if not to be known, even briefly, by something conscious enough to wonder? You are that consciousness. You are that wonder, a fragment of the infinite, folded into awareness. And as the galaxy turns, your presence, small, fragile, temporary, becomes part of its story forever. You move through a calm band of the Milky Way where the light thickens, turning space into something that feels almost liquid. Around you, stars drift like golden particles, suspended in a slow current. The galaxy's glow becomes less like a place and more like a presence, as if the Milky Way itself is breathing you in. Every star you pass radiates light that never truly ends. It spreads outward forever, becoming weaker, fainter, but never gone. Even when the last photon fades beyond visibility, it continues to ripple through the dark. The universe remembers light long after it leaves its source. And so you realize, light is not just illumination, it is memory. Every spark you see is a story still unfolding. You pass near a bright region where new stars are being born, a stellar nursery, thick clouds glowing in soft pink and violet, rich with hydrogen and dust. Inside, gravity pulls everything inward, whispering the same phrase again and again, become. You can almost feel it, the slow inward collapse, the gathering of gas, the birth of heat, the moment when fusion begins and darkness learns how to shine. The sound, if you could hear it, would be like a deep breath drawn over millions of years. Each of these newborn stars will live for billions of years. Some will die quietly, others will explode in brilliance. And in their light, the galaxy will write new chapters of itself. You move deeper into the nursery and pass through a thin mist of dust. Inside, this dust float complex molecules, carbon chains, sugars, alcohols, fragments of potential life. They cling to ice, to rock, to the cold edges of forming planets. The galaxy is planting seeds here, in silence, in patience, in darkness. It feels almost human, this instinct to create, to continue, to leave traces. But it is not human at all. It is universal. The same will that moves through every atom, urging it toward complexity, toward awareness, toward the moment where it can look back and see itself. You drift through this glowing region slowly, letting the colors fade behind you until only starlight remains. Ahead, the spiral arm curves into view, a vast ribbon of blue-white suns twisting through the dark. It feels alive, moving not as a structure but as a flow. The spiral arms are not fixed. They are waves of density, like sound traveling through air. Stars move in and out of them over time, carried by gravity's rhythm. The Milky Way is not a still photograph. It's a river of motion, a pulse of light. And you are within it. Not separate, not watching, within. You begin to see it now. Light is not just what the galaxy emits. It is what the galaxy is. The Milky Way is a river of light, and you are drifting in its current. Each photon that passes through you has touched 100 worlds. Some were born in supernova, others in quiet suns. They have traveled through dust clouds, through empty space, through magnetic fields, through time itself. They pass through you now, gentle, invisible, and continue on, carrying traces of your atoms, your heat, your breath. You are both receiver and sender of light. You are a mirror for the universe's glow. Below you, stars move in looping orbits, forming shapes that repeat and yet never align. Some drift closer to the galactic center, others wander outward into the halo. You can see the warp of the disk, the way the galaxy bends, curving like a ripple frozen in mid-motion. It is not a flaw. It is a sign of interaction, a memory of past encounters. Even galaxies remember. They bear their histories in shape and motion, in the tilt of their disks, in the stretch of their arms, in the lopsided way they spin. Every imperfection tells a story. And you, floating between stars, weightless and unbound, realize that you, too, carry such memories. The small scars and quiet asymmetries of your own life are not flaws. They are proof that you have moved through gravity, through time, through change. They are what make you real. You look out again, and the spiral arm glows brighter. For a moment, the stars seem to form a bridge across the void, a soft arc connecting the galactic core to the outer rim. It looks like a river frozen in midair, its current flowing not with water, but with light. And in that image, you understand something you had only felt before. You have never been alone, not for a second. Because even when darkness surrounds you, even when silence feels infinite, light is always there, faint, patient, unstoppable. It moves toward you from every direction, crossing impossible distances, carrying warmth from 1,000 forgotten fires. You are never outside the flow. You are part of it. You drift closer to the galactic plane now, the bright middle band of the Milky Way seen from Earth as a luminous river across the night. From here, it feels like looking through the heart of a vast, living organism. The density of stars is so great that their individual light merges into one soft silver glow. Every pinprick of that glow is a sun. Every sun holds worlds. And on some of those worlds perhaps there are other beings, looking up, wondering, dreaming, feeling the same quiet pull toward the stars that you do now. It's strange, you think, that distance should make connection stronger, that the farther away something is, the more its light seems to matter. The Milky Way turns slowly, endlessly. It doesn't hurry. It doesn't end. It simply moves. And in that movement, you begin to sense a truth deeper than understanding, something like peace. All things, the stars, the planets, the dust, the light, even you, are part of the same motion. There is no separation, no loss, no real distance, only flow. You breathe in. The galaxy breathes with you. You breathe out. The stars shimmer slightly, as if answering. For a moment, you are not a watcher of the Milky Way. You are the Milky Way, dreaming itself. You drift now toward the quiet edge of the spiral, where the stars grow thin and the darkness becomes wide again. The Milky Way stretches behind you like a river of silver light, flowing through the black. For a long time, you simply float, listening to the silence, feeling the faint pull of gravity from everywhere at once. The further you move from the center, the more you begin to sense the scale of it all. 100 billion suns, each burning alone and yet together, weaving light into the same invisible web. You can see the galactic plane fading into a soft band, the way it appears from Earth on a clear night. From here, you finally understand what that band truly is. Not a line, not a boundary, but a glimpse through the heart of something immense. A window into the structure you belong to. And suddenly, you realize something you hadn't noticed before. The darkness around you isn't empty. It's full of faint particles, drifting photons, ghostly neutrinos, quiet messengers from stars long gone. Space is never still. It hums with the residue of creation. Even in the silence between galaxies, the echo of the Big Bang still ripples, faint but constant. It occurs to you then that maybe silence itself is the sound of everything at once, too vast to separate, too complete to divide. As you float, you sense that you are moving homeward, not to a location, not to a planet, but to a state of knowing. You've wandered through light and shadow, through beginnings and endings, through the birth of stars and the slow breathing of galaxies. And now everything feels connected, every fact and every feeling joined by the same invisible rhythm. You begin to descend toward a familiar arm of the galaxy, the Orion Spur, the quiet lane of stars where your sun lives. From afar, it looks small, almost unremarkable, just a gentle curl between grander spirals. But as you draw near, it glows with a soft warmth, a steadiness unlike the rest. This is home, not because it is special in size or brightness, but because it is quiet enough for life to grow, for thought to take shape, for eyes to open and see the stars. As you glide into the spur, the familiar constellations come into view. Orion's belt, the curve of the Milky Way, the distant shimmer of the Pleiades. You know them not as points of light, but as neighbors. You have passed among them. You know their age, their weight, their place in the cosmic dance. And there, ahead, a small, bright star appears. Yellow-white, gentle, burning with calm precision. Around it circles a tiny world wrapped in blue and white, fragile and alive. Earth. You hover above it for a moment, seeing it as it truly is, not a speck of dust, not an island lost in infinity, but a drop of light in a living ocean. The clouds move in slow spirals. The continents glow faintly under moonlight. From this height, there is no border, no separation, no noise, only the quiet motion of a living world. Every person below, every sound, every heartbeat, all are made of stardust, drawn from the same atoms that built the galaxy. The iron in your blood was forged in ancient suns. The calcium in your bones was born in supernova. The oxygen in your lungs once drifted between stars. You are not made of the universe. You are made as the universe. You feel gravity again, gentle, patient, pulling you toward that small blue world. You let it. You fall slowly, softly, like a leaf returning to the ground. The light of the Milky Way fades behind you, but not away. It lingers, reflected in the oceans, in the clouds, in your eyes. And as you descend, you begin to understand that coming home was never about distance. It was about remembering. The galaxy was never something you traveled through. It was something you remembered yourself within. You drift through the atmosphere, thin, glowing, filled with air that once passed through forests, seas, and the lungs of countless lives before you. Every breath is an inheritance, every exhale a gift returned. The sound of wind joins you, then the faint rhythm of the earth turning, then the quiet beat of your own heart. All of it, the same pattern, the same pulse that moves stars and atoms alike. You lie still now, the sky above you dark and full of stars. You can trace the Milky Way stretching from one horizon to the other, a glowing river across the night. It feels different now, not distant, not unreachable, but intimate, almost tender. You know what it is to be part of it. You have seen its heart. You have felt its breath. And as you close your eyes, you carry its memory within you, a quiet certainty that you belong, that you always have. Because the truth is simple and infinite. You were never separate from the stars. You are one of them, slowed, cooled, shaped into awareness, shining for a moment in a different form. You breathe once more. The night holds you. Above, the galaxy turns. Below, the earth turns with it. And in between, you rest. One brief flicker of consciousness held in the soft spiral of eternity. The Milky Way hums faintly in your blood. The stars drift quietly through your dreams. And somewhere, far away but never apart, the quiet heart of the galaxy continues to shine. Good night. Sleep well. You are home.